Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Prepaid Legal. Well, boy, am I excited. My younger brother talked about that experience of him living in a ghetto. He's my younger, bigger brother. And, but I remember when we were sitting there with brothers making that decision before we ever sold a membership to take a line, and literally he was in the ghetto, so we didn't have grass, he had dirt. And we would take a line, and we literally would step across that line and say to each other and turn around and said, I am a Platinum Executive Director. And the other one would step across that line and said, I am a Platinum Executive Director. And today I stand before you a Platinum Executive Director. Now, we had created a vision that was so clear to us that we could smell it, we could taste it, we could feel it before we ever marketed a membership, before we ever recruited anyone. So that vision was so clear, and we all know without a vision, the people. And I knew that if we could just create that, so we did. So we saw it, we knew it was going to happen, we crossed that line and made a decision. And so, it's my honor and privilege to be able to speak to you, to share a few things with you. When I started my prepaid legal business 10 years ago, I was finishing up my doctorate and becoming a doctor of chiropractic. And I was extremely busy. I was taking over 30 hours a semester, twice the load of a normal full-time college student. But my wife and I, we had a bit of the challenge, and that was we had way too much month at the end of the money. How many of y'all can relate to that? And so we were looking for ways, and that's when prepaid legal came in our life. And, as I started building, following a simple system, I messed it up because I'd never done a business like this, but eventually started to follow a system that worked. And before I even graduated, before I even finished up my internship, I was already making over $95,000 a year as a full-time college student. And so I continued to, finish that up. I haven't practiced since 2003, and it's interesting because my chiropractor I used to see down in California when I lived down there, he said, he goes, why would you spend almost $100,000 in student loan debt, almost 10 years of your life getting educated as a doctor of chiropractic and not practice? Folks, my response was, I didn't know there was a better life. I didn't know about residual income. I didn't know about leveraged income. And when I learned about those concepts, it changed everything for me. And so, it was interesting. I was doing a training once, and this guy walked up to me. He goes, you're just the kind of person I would like to have on my team. You're the only people. I want professionals. I want doctors, accountants, lawyers. I want people like you on my team. And I said, there's only one person I want on my team. And that's somebody who only has a PhD. And that's poor, hungry, and driven. So, but what I did, I got here following a simple system, and we know the acronym SYSTEM is Save Yourself Time, Energy, and Money. And I knew that if I follow this system, I was spinning around for a while trying to figure out this business, and I'll tell you what changed everything for me. It was February 1st, 2002 in Ontario, California, when Mr. Jeff Olson came and did a power training for us, and he taught us how to make this business work. And when I heard that training, and we all know it now, the power training CDs, the light bulb just came on for me. How many, when you listen to those CDs, it happened for you? Say yes? I just knew that this was, this is how I'm going to do it. I was a year in the business or longer, a year and a half before I realized how to build this business. It was because of Jeff Olson and keeping it simple. And so what I want to share with you is a few things that I did to create that success. And, it's interesting because people that get involved in prepaid legal, a lot of times they want to complicate this business. They want to make it tough. And you know why I think that is? It's an easy business, but the reason why they want to make it tough is so they have an excuse to quit. Because if it's easy, what are you going to say? You tell somebody, yeah, I quit that business. It's a real easy business, but I quit it. I failed at it miserably. Right? You just can't say that. You say, oh, no, it's hard, or you want to blame something. And so it truly is an easy business, and we shouldn't complicate it. And so I got to share this experience with you. When I started, I was scared to death. To imagine I'd be here in front of 20,000 people in the MGM speaking to you is crazy. But, when I got started, I was afraid to say hello to people. and sometimes we got to start there. When we start this exposure process and talking to people about this business, sometimes people, it is just hard to say hello. And I remember, matter of fact, when me and my brother, my twin brother, were in chiropractic school, and we're walking around, and we used to have these audio tapes. And so I used to get these audio tapes, and we would look for somebody that's walking the opposite way on campus. And when they're walking the opposite way, right when they pass by, and we would look for somebody who has a backpack and carrying lots of stuff. And so right when they're walking by, I've got the audio tape right here in my hand. Okay, so when they walk by, they don't see it, and then I flip it out. And I make sure it lands flat so it smacks on the ground. It makes a lot of noise. So I keep walking. I was like, oh, you dropped something. They're like, no, it was you. No, it was you. I saw it drop out of your backpack. And I walk off. And they bend down and pick it up. I'm like, he got it. That's awesome. Now, some of y'all are like, that's good. Man, folks, that's less effective. But, a body in motion tends to stay in motion. And so you got to start somewhere. And so I started there, started to get a little more comfortable in my exposure process. And then I was able to actually talk to people, create some interest, make a third-party exposure with a tool, and pique somebody's interest. And so as I made that third-party exposure with a DVD or a website or whatever it was, then I would simply follow up. Okay? Now, as I follow up with them, I want to do a three-way phone call if they're interested with an expert. Okay? Once I do a three-way phone call, then the expert is going to help me invite that person to a live event. And so once they get to the live event, we know most people who go through that exposure process, they're in. I mean, majority of the people are in the business, and they're going to sign up. Then we get them trained, and we repeat that process. Now, folks, when we get started, a lot of people know about the exposure process. They know of it, but they don't know it. And there's a difference. You want to be consciously competent. And so as we're exposing people in the business, if you can go through the exposure process like I'm about to, then you know that you're consciously competent. And so here it is. You simply make a post. Hey, are you open to making extra income? They say, yeah. I say, oh, great. Listen, hey, check out this DVD. They have to watch the DVD. You say, hey, did you get a chance to watch that DVD? Yeah. What'd you like best? That's the money question, by the way. And they say, oh, the money sounds incredible. Oh, yeah, great. Hey, listen, how do they pay out that kind of money? They say, well, great question. Let me introduce you to a person I'm working with. You do a three-way phone call. They take it from there and say, hey, what'd you like best? They say, oh, it sounds like a great opportunity. Wonderful. They tell their story, validate the information. They invite them to a live event. They come to the live event. They see the opportunity. You ask them again, hey, what did you like best? And they say, hey, this sounds great. I'm ready to get started. So then they sign up. Then you get them trained. Folks, that is the exposure process. I didn't even have to say the name of the company, folks. I didn't know the 5 titles of the membership, folks. I didn't know how we got paid, but I knew a simple system that can duplicate with everyone. Now, not only